And for this IB Economics lightning lesson, we're talking about negative consumption externalities, which basically happen when people consume goods that don't just hurt themselves, but quietly dump extra costs on the rest of society. These goods are called demerit goods, and they include the usual suspects like cigarettes, alcohol, junk food, gambling, and even things people don't think about, like air travel. Consumers get private benefits from these goods, but they don't fully understand or care about the external costs they create, so the free market ends up over-consuming and over-providing them. On the diagram, this plays out pretty clearly. The marginal private benefit curve sits above the marginal social benefit curve because private consumers value the good more than society does. The supply curve stays the same since the issue is with consumption, not production, and it's equal to the marginal private costs and the marginal social costs. The market ends up at too high a quantity, while the socially optimum quantity is lower. The gap between these points forms the welfare loss triangle, which always points left for a negative externality. Governments step in to fix this market failure using a few approaches. The classic market-based solution is an indirect or Pigouvian tax. This creates a wedge between the price paid by consumers and the price received by producers, shifting the marginal private cost curve up to MPC plus tax. If the tax is set equal to the external cost, the quantity demanded falls to the socially optimum level. Governments also use legislation and regulation, such as age limits, smoking bans, and restricted sales hours, all aimed at decreasing consumption by reducing marginal private benefits. Education and awareness campaigns work the same way, pushing the MPB curve downward by helping consumers better understand the true harm. And for the HL students, you also need to know about nudges. These are subtle design choices that steer consumers toward healthier behavior without removing their freedom to choose. Of course, none of these policies are perfect. It is incredibly difficult to measure the exact size of the external cost, which means governments struggle to set the correct tax level. Demerit goods often have inelastic demand, so even very high taxes may barely reduce consumption. Regulation can backfire by pushing activity into black markets, and education can take years to have an impact. Stakeholders feel these effects differently. Now, if you want a 7 on your test, make sure to watch the full lesson to get all the effects. But here's a quick summary. Consumers pay higher prices or lose access, producers face lower revenue, governments gain tax income, and society benefits when consumption falls. In the end, negative consumption externalities boil down to too much consumption, too much harm, and a clear welfare loss. Government intervention tries to push the market back toward the socially optimum level, even though each method has its limitations. This is the essential idea, and once you understand the diagram and how policies shift the curves, the whole topic becomes much easier.
And done! Big Kev out!